Hello again, everybody. I'm Fred Cowgill. Welcome to Indianapolis and WLKY's continuing coverage on the road to Detroit's Final Four. We started 10 days ago with 65 teams. Right now we're down to just 12, 5 from the Big East. And by the end of this night, we will be down to an Elite Eight for the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Just 10 days from now, we'll crown a new champion, and the Cards hope to be that one and only. We're just minutes away from game coverage, top overall seed, U of L men's basketball against 12 seed Arizona in a Midwest region semifinal of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Louisville is a 9-point favorite tonight, and for a ton of reasons. The hottest club in the country, playing so exceptionally well right now with a 12-game winning streak. Hasn't lost a game in the last 6 weeks, a 30-5 record overall. Arizona is by far the weakest club still playing basketball, at least seed-wise, but don't be fooled by that or by the Wildcats' 21-13 record. Louisville faces an Arizona team which is a mirror image of itself. Both clubs are athletically gifted, both with future NBA players on their teams. Both are physical, in your face. Both use defense to create offense. The Wildcats are late bloomers after struggling to recover from the retirement last October of iconic head coach Lute Olson. The Cards and Andre McGee are not taking the Wildcats lightly.
Like they said, they also press and we press, and the great thing about it is like going against each other in practice. So it's really nothing to adjust to because, you know, when you're a pressing team, you have to press each other in practice to get used to it. So it'll just be like another day of practice. And I think he approaches it the same. I mean, this isn't something new for him. You know, he's been around the block a couple times. You know, if you ask him, he's probably giving the same speeches he did, 10, 15 years ago. You know, it's just a different colored jersey and different players. But, you know, he has the same formula for winning, the same expectations for hard work. And we just try to follow everything he tells us.
He does everything 100% hard, whether it's October or whether it's now. It's the same. It's just the practice may get shortened by 15 minutes, a little lighter. But it's more pressing and he's more aggressive. But it's the same as terms of winning and the same type of elements of keys to winning. It's all stay the same.
And right now, the 16 best teams in the country are left. And the 16 teams with probably the most physical talent. And in this region, certainly it doesn't get any better in terms of talent than Arizona, Kansas, and Michigan State and us. So we all have a lot of talented athletes who perform well under pressure.
No doubt about that, and this figures to be a great regional semifinal doubleheader tonight. This is going to be an excellent game with Arizona, and one key for the Cardinals will be guard play. Coming up next on the road to the Final Four, we'll look at Andre McGee and his role tonight against the Arizona Wildcats. We've got some great games coming up, live game coverage on WLKY, channel 32.1 coming up just a little bit, Insight Channel 5.
Well, I really honestly don't believe it has anything to do with coaching at this point, whether you're coaching for 50 years or you're coaching for 5 years. The players are going to determine who wins and loses.
Head coach Rick Pitino, no doubt about that. Now, based on the track record of these two clubs, their past performances would seem to indicate that the game between the two will come down to guard play and who gets the best from whom. The good news for Louisville, it is extremely deep, extremely gifted, extremely talented in that department, led by Andre McGee. McGee could be the difference maker tonight against Arizona.
But there's no doubt about it, this young man here is what makes our basketball team win. Andre McGee is the key times 10 to our basketball team. He gets everybody pressing, everybody playing defense, and he just does it for one reason. He's not trying to impress anybody. He just does it because he has a deep passion to win. I'm real proud of him because what he does is tough to do.
The praise from U of L men's basketball head coach Rick Pitino came after Andre McGee helped inspire an NCAA tournament first-round win over Morehead State. Louisville was laboring until McGee turned up his patented defense, and the senior co-captain's play inspired his teammates to do the same. But this was no isolated incident. Pitino's been singing Andre's praises for weeks, even years.
He's the unsung hero of our basketball team. We talk about it almost every game. how he's the one that applies all the pressure. He's the one that takes the other team out of their offense. He's the other one that forces the opposition to use the shot clock. So he's the unsung hero by far.
McGee found his niche on a team filled with talent. There were lots of scorers, but when it came to doing the dirty work, somebody had to take the lead. Enter Andre.
When you're hustling like that and you're getting steals and, we're going down the other end and getting easy points, it's like a dog smelling blood. We really try hard to get after teams and, we go on our runs in the second half, and when we try to do that, it just picks everyone else's intensity up. And sometimes I get a little too involved in it. A pass goes thrown to another player. I just go ahead and keep guarding him, try to keep the pressure on. And when he passes to another guy, I'll just switch off and also guard him too and just try to run anywhere we can. And I know the guys behind me have my back, and I'm going to make the rotations, feeding off me and reading me. I'm just trying to deflect the ball and, allow them to make the steals and the proper rotations, and it usually works out.
McGee uses his sense of humor to disarm people. He uses his defense to disarm the competition. It would be easy to take Andre lightly on a team with more physically imposing athletes, and his Cards teammates have learned McGee uses that to his advantage.
Andre's a lot, I think, smarter than people give him credit for. He's very bright, and he's obviously a tremendous basketball player.
Andre can go out with you guys, go out to dinner, have a great conversation with you. He can converse at every level about anything, whether it's politics, whether it's the economy. He can talk about it. And he obviously can go out with the guys and be one of the guys. Andre just gets it. He's got really his dad, his brother, all played the game from a basketball background. His mom is just a delightful lady. One of my favorite moms of all the players. Just a tremendous mom, and so is Will's mom, obviously. But Andre's just a together young man. I think he'd be a great coach. I think he still has his heart in playing basketball, and he should pursue that dream overseas, if not here. And I encourage him to do that. But he would make a great young coach.
McGee is already a coach on the court, leading by example with an uncompromising work ethic, outworking almost everybody around him in spite of having to overcome physical challenges. There's at least one thing that can't be taught, and that's a deep-seated competitive spirit, a hunger, a will to win. Andre has all of those and more.
He came to the University of Louisville to win, and he just changed his game into one of the better defensive players in the country because his ego is team ego. He gets everything. All his gratification comes from the team winning and the team working hard, and you can just see how eloquent he speaks about hard work. So, you can't get 13 Andre McGees if so every one of us would be so successful. But he really has been a great captain, a great leader, and someone who's just gotten the total fulfillment out of the college experience.
So he is the perfect fit, a basketball junkie in a town that makes the sport part of the fabric of the community. A place which can appreciate the subtle skills that don't always show up on the post-game stat sheets. For this guy from California, Louisville was the only place to be.
It's been wonderful, man. All I've wanted it to be. The only regret I had was, having knee surgery. Other than that, everything has been absolutely what I expected. A great city, great town. It's been basketball heaven for me.
Time is short for McGee's Cards career, a maximum of just 2 weeks left. Regardless of where this team finishes, the ultimate litmus test of success is where you are remembered and how. And for Andre McGee, his place in the hearts and minds of Louisville fans is safe, secure, and special.
I just want fans to remember me as, that little gutsy guy who was always, ready to play hard, ready to scrap and, get up in people's jocks, try to turn people over and just try to, put it all out there on the court every game. Not necessarily a guy who got a lot of accolades or anything, but, a blue-collar guy who strapped his boots on and played out there with his heart.
Andre McGee will be missed. He is a great interview. And speaking of great interviews, we have a new member of the WLKY News staff, and he is Edgar Sosa, CR News sports reporter, and hear from him as the road to the Final Four continues on WLKY. When we get to cover teams in the postseason, we occasionally get unique opportunities to have some fun, and we have one right here for you. 4 years ago, as an example, during Louisville's run to St. Louis's Final Four, I got Larry O'Bannon to play reporter for WLKY and interview his Cards teammates in that locker room, and that was met with such positive feedback that I knew that someday I'd get a chance to do it again. I got a crack at doing it again this week here in Indianapolis. That opportunity presented itself with Edgar Sosa.
How's it going, guys? I'm Edgar Sosa with WLKY, and I'm here, to interview my buddy, my pal, my teammate, George Good. So let's walk over here inside the Louisville locker room and interview George. How's it going, George?
How you doing, Sos?
Yeah, we're here in Indianapolis, and this is our second time being in the Sweet 16. Unfortunately, you didn't get to play last year, but how does it feel, the atmosphere? How does it feel?
It's real exciting. Nice to be here, first time, hoping I get to play and stuff like that.
Yeah. So how do you feel about the arena we're about to play in? It's huge. How when you play in a big place, it's hard to shoot and stuff like that. The wind is blowing everywhere. Like, how do you feel about that?
I don't know. It's just something else we got to conquer, as this long season. Like, we played in Syracuse, and that was a big gym, but we made it work.
Yeah, and I don't even know why I'm asking you this. You got a wet jump shot. You shoot anywhere, so I shouldn't even be asking you that, right?
No, not really. You should ask somebody like Reginald Duck or even Terrence Jennings.
Speaking about Reginald Duck, let's take a walk further into the Louisville locker room. Excuse me, Terrence. We have my boy here, Reggie Duck, also known as Big Country. He from Tennessee. I call him Big Country. So, how you feel to be in the Sweet 16 for the first time?
I feel good, man. It's a dream come true, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to get farther, trying to get to that Final Four, Elite Eight, You know how we do it.
You can see by the way he talks why I call him Big Country. I'm going to interview TJ. We also call him Sharp Head. I want you to zoom in to the top of his head. It's very sharp. So, TJ, how you feel about being in the Sweet 16 for the first time? I'm going to need you to put the phone down, sir.
It feels great. That's it.
Well, great answer. I don't know what else to say. It's great, I guess. But TJ, you being a main guy on this team, coming off the bench with that spark and that great defense. How do you feel about playing Arizona this weekend?
I feel good. It's going to be a great matchup between big men and guards, and it's going to be a great game. It's going to be close.
Let's see who can I interview. I have the perfect guy. Let's walk over here let's listen in on this interview.
How much did you see of Arizona during the year, just watching college hoops?
What conference they playing?
I think they play in a Pac-10.
I don't think Pac-10 be on TV too much, so I didn't really get to see them play a lot. I seen a couple of games. I like the way they play, their style of play. I think they got 3 great players, and I think they're a good team.
Errol, how do you feel about Arizona? Not the school, but the state of Arizona. How do you feel?
Man, Arizona. I don't think I ever been there.
Never been there?
Nah.
It's a great place.
We went there earlier.
You were there in the season.
Oh yeah. Hey, we did, huh? Hey, we lost too, huh?
Yeah, we lost.
Hey, we lost. That's what I don't remember. I don't remember loss too much. My memory. No, it was beautiful weather. Other than the loss, it was a great place. I enjoyed myself.
Thank you, Earl.
When we finish a story, you always say with the call letters, I'm Edgar Sosa.
I'm Edgar Sosa.
WLKY.
WLKY.
Live in
Indianapolis.
Sports Illustrated. Let's go back to our first game of the evening. Arizona and Louisville. Arizona, Seth.
Well, the 12-seeded Wildcats will have their hands full with Louisville, to be sure. One problem that Arizona's had over the course of the season is turning the ball over. Louisville's defense, I think, will give them some trouble. Now, Chase Budinger is an outstanding scorer from the outside, second on the team in the tournament. But the pressure will be on Nick Wise, their point guard. He's got 8 turnovers in his first 2 games of this tournament, only to 10 assists. If he can't take care of the ball, Louisville's going to kill him in transition. I like Louisville to win the game.
Well, absolutely. I think the real issue, though, when you talk about it from the standpoint of Arizona and going up against Louisville, is the lack of depth. That's going to be more of an issue. That's where Louisville wears you out. They dominate teams in the second half because they play a lot of bodies out on that perimeter. They will be led by their all-everything player, Terrence Williams. This guy, to me, as exciting a basketball player as we have on the college environment. And I'm interested to see also if Samardo Samuels can match up against Jordan Hill. I think that's going to be critical.
All right, guys, in the second.
Michael Jordan. Smart takes the shot. Puts it up. Dreams to come true. As good as it.
Welcome to downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. Site of the Midwest Regional Semifinal, our first game of the evening. It's a 12 versus a 1 as Arizona takes on Louisville. And the winner of this game advances to take on the winner of our next game, a 2 versus a 3. Michigan State, Kansas, the rematch. So let's take a look at the starting lineup, and Arizona, coached by Russ Pinnell. He replaced the great Lute Olson. His team comes in with a 21-13 record. They were 9-9 in the Pac-10 Conference. He has a great leader and scorer in Nick Wise. He's going to have to handle the pressure. Fogg is the 2 guard. Jordan Hill, a dominator, 18 and 11 per game. Chase Budinger, one of the best athletes in the country. Meanwhile, the 30 and 5 Louisville Cardinals, 2 lockdown defenders in the backcourt, McGee and Smith. And in the front court, Earl Clark can do everything. Samuels is growing day by day, and Terrence Williams is their leader and first-team All-America. Their coach, Rick Pitino, in his 8th season, he won the national championship at Kentucky in '96. He's taken 3 different teams to the Final Four. Schaus, Olsen, Skiles. Tonight's game brought to you in HDTV by Harris Corporation, the world leader in broadcast systems for high-definition television and mobile media. Gus Johnson, Len Elmore with you. What should we pay attention to early?
Well, first of all, Arizona with their big 3, Wise, Budinger, and Hill. They're the focal points. They play lots of minutes. Question is whether they have the stamina to withstand the Louisville pressure. When you talk about Louisville pressure, you talk about ball pressure and back support, keeping people out of the middle.
5th all-time meeting between these 2 teams. Series is tied at 5 and at 2, and number 5, Earl Clark, hits his first shot of the game, and that allows Louisville to get into their pressure defense.
Take a look right there. Louisville will run lots of folks at Arizona. At times they seem as though they're changing like a hockey line, but they make sure their depth pays dividends.
And there's the turnover. Smith to the basket, and he jams it down.
Arizona's going to be tested today. I mean, there's no question about it. Even though they had the 4th fewest turnovers in the Pac-10 at about 12.6, they're playing a kind of defense they haven't really seen.
Budinger and 1, and will go to the line.
That time, Chase Budinger kind of escaped any of the pressure. Louisville with no one back to protect. I guess the excitement and intensity of being here, somebody missed an assignment.
So Budinger is known as the best player on this Arizona team. First team all Pac-10, has a 45-inch vertical. Now, look at the Cats. They're going to set up and go full court pressure.
I guess they're subscribing to the adage that the team that presses doesn't like to be pressed. Louisville turns it over at about 14 per game. So at times they can be susceptible.
McGee deep for 3 and hits. So Andre McGee knocking down the 3-pointer. He's a 38% 3-point shooter on the season. Wise gets it over the midcourt line.
Well, Wise split the double team or the potential double team. And once you do that, you get past the first wave. A lot of times you have an advantage break situation. Louisville's doing a nice job of getting back despite Wise beating that first wave of pressure.
What kind of defense are the Cardinals in right now?
Well, they're playing 2-3 zone, and they will extend it. They'll double you. It's a very active zone. But it's also prone to giving up offensive rebounds.
Kyle Fogg with the offensive rebound. New shot clock for Zona. Budinger, turnaround baseline, jump shot, got it.
Well, that's one of the areas against the 2-3 that's very open to exploitation, the short corner, as well as that spot right below the free throw line in the middle.
Down the lane, that one short for Clark. Still won't stay down. Hill with the rebound. And here comes Wise. Arizona looking very confident and comfortable right now. They're coming off a 71-57 win over Cleveland State in Miami. Prior to that, in the first round, they defeated Utah 84-71. Pick and roll, Wise, slipping, kicking, rise and fire, Budinger.
You see a lot of teams like to set up that high screen even against the zone to peel off one guy and have maybe 2-to-1 advantage or get a little penetration in the gaps.
McGee again. So Louisville's coming off a 79-72 win over Siena. In the second round, they beat Morehead State 74-54 in the first round, advancing from Dayton, Ohio. Pull-up jump shot, 15-footer. And that one off the mark for Horn, who they compare to a young Richard Jefferson, who started Arizona. Smith deep and rattled it home.
Well, you got 2 guys that can knock down threes. Jerry Smith, 40% from beyond the arc, and Andre McGee about 38%. And if you're going to sag back on the big people for Louisville, those guys will stretch your defense.
Smith had a great Big East tournament where he averaged 11 points per game. Shot the ball really well. Wise inside. That one halfway down pops out. And the rebound to the Cardinals.
And even though Nick Wise missed that shot, that's the mid-range shot you want to get in the paint. You got to be able to knock the soft ones down.
Clark double-teamed on the baseline, almost turned it over. And almost turns it over, he does. Wise getting a hand on it.
Well, one of the hallmarks of Louisville's pressure D is to be able to protect the paint, and they set up a triangle, ball pressure at the point of attack to protect the middle. And they've got back support ready to double and close off the paint. And again, the triangle, ball pressure, poised to double, support in the back, and they don't allow the pass to the man in the middle. They force you into low percentage shots, or they entice you into quick perimeter shots.
Preston Knowles, Edgar Sosa, both check in for Louisville. Hill. Now Hill to the basket. Draws a triple team, almost turned it over, and finally, Budinger down the lane, left hand.
I tell you what, Hill, when he first received, make a quick move, you avoid the triple team. If you hesitate, that's when Louisville swarms you, but it all turned out well for that possession.
Chase Budinger, one of the best athletes in the country. Clark deep, that one off the heel. Loose ball knocked out of bounds, will head the other way. He's an incredible volleyball player. His entire family filled with athletes, and already he has 7 points.
We talk about the sweet spot of the 2-3 zone, and right there, you'll see Chase Budinger step right beneath the free throw line, and when he gets it, he knows what to do. Turns and faces, reads Samuels, who comes out on him, and has that little lane to the basket. You have that middleman in the back line of the zone coming at you, you drive around him. If he stays back, you shoot the jumper. Earl Clark on the wing is supposed to help, didn't pinch enough. And Budinger with an opportunity to score. He's got all 7 points for Arizona.
And don't forget, coming up, a 2 versus a 3 Syracuse, Oklahoma, 7:27 tip. We'll get you out to that game as soon as it's ready. Wise, Fogg, Hill, Budinger on the far side with Horn. Inside, and Wise throws it away.
Yeah, he was anticipating Hill to kind of roll to that sweet spot we talked about, and Hill didn't move.
One-hand pass inside. Samuels powers it up and in from Sosa.
Well, the young fellow who was one of the best freshmen in the country just knows how to post.
Ball rejected by Samuels and out of bounds.
Samardo Samuels on one end getting it done offensively, and here he comes on the other end defensively making it happen. Impact in the middle for the freshman.
Hill turns it over. 3 turnovers for Arizona to start this game. 12-7. And Sosa, along with Williams, unable to communicate, but the big 3 have to play well for Arizona.
Well, they certainly do. I mean, they score about 70% of the points for this team, and it comes down to them playing a lot of minutes, and they have to stay on the floor as fresh as they possibly can, playing big, using their athleticism, and obviously shooting with range.
Hill, this time he finds a soft spot and a reach-in foul coming up.
And again, Samardo Samuels comes up on him, and Hill puts it on the floor to go by it. You treat it almost like it's 1-and-1.
Hill, very interesting player as you take a look. Budinger has scored all of their points so far. Here's a guy, big fella, averaging 18 and 11, and he's only been playing basketball for about 5 years. Brought it down, gets it up, and banks it home.
Well, the good part about it, when you're only playing that short a time and you've got athleticism and an understanding of the game, is that you don't have bad habits. And Jordan Hill has few bad habits, and he'll get more and more comfortable as his time in this game goes on.
Also shoots a high percentage, decent free throw shooter for a big man at 6'10" at 65%.
See, when you're starting out young and you're exposed to some of these travel teams and places where the coaching might not be what you want, you develop bad habits.
Williams burying a 3. First team All-America, first team All-Big East. Sosa with the steal. Inside, Knowles knocks down the mid-range. Louisville turning it up defensively. Here's Fall. Bumped and fouled. And look at Rick Pitino on the bench. He is animated.
Well, you see the new guard tandem, Knowles and Sosa, right away making their impact felt. And Sosa with a nice steal and save, resulting in the points. And this is what we say. You have fresh guards, fresh legs, fresh outlook, and they'll go at this pressure just as hard and intently as the guys who started the game. That's why the guards for Arizona can never rest.
Hill, 14-footer. Terrence Williams with a swooping rebound. He'll bring it into the front court. Williams this time driving. The runner short. And here comes Wise. They need points from Wise. Extra pass. Fall deep. Got it.
Well, that's one way to get the other guys involved. Kyle Fogg, pretty good shooter. Honorable mention freshman team in the Pac-10.
And as a freshman, makes very few mistakes. Knowles pulls the trigger. And the weak side rebound goes to Hill.
And recognizing, again, you got the big three. You got a guy like Fogg. He can be a reliable fourth scorer.
Hill inside. Shows it. Kicks it. And Wise traveled. 5 turnovers for Arizona to start.
But Nick Wise knows that he's got to get other guys involved as well. Not only can he create for himself, he creates for others. And Horn with the extra pass catches Louisville in rotation and gets a wide open look for Kyle Fogg. There'll be a lot of ball movement out here for Arizona. They cannot be lulled into the quick shot. As we mentioned before, that's what the Louisville pressure, whether it's full court or half court in the zone, that's what they want.
Reginald Delp Jr. comes into the game. So already Louisville starting to run a lot of guys at Arizona. Delp down the lane, the teardrop, no. Loose ball, rebounding, and a foul. Jennings just took it away and will go to the line and shoot 2. Sosa saves it right to his teammate for a good look at the basket. Watch exclusive video of 8-Man Corner Live, plus 15 and 16 Live, and bonus coverage of the entire field with Masters Extra at cbssports.com/Masters Live and Masters.com. 17-12, Louisville with the lead. Terrence Jennings at the line, and he's really been coming on as of late.
Well, he certainly has, developing as a player. A nice compliment for his fellow freshman, Samardo Samuels, in the middle. Over the last 18 games, he's averaged about 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks, had 8 points and 2 rebounds against Siena in 7 minutes. So he gives Rick Pitino pretty good minutes.
And the second free throw off the mark.
And you had a chance to see Louisville, obviously, not one of the better free throw shooting teams in the country. And, you know, to make that run deep in this tournament, at some point in time, that free throw shooting is going to be challenged in close game situations.
We saw it with Memphis last year in the national title game. All the way down to the final minute. Memphis, in the end, unable to hit them when they needed them. Arizona tonight, trailing virtually the entire game.
And in the first 2 games, they only trailed 32 seconds. You know, which means obviously they get off to a quick start and never look back. But they're obviously tested today.
Johnson steps into a jump shot. Horn going up high for the rebound, but had it poked out of his hand.
And they're really tested by the depth of Louisville. 9 players so far in the first 9 minutes of this ball game, where Arizona's up until now really stuck with their starting 5.
And Smith gets down the lane and jams it. He has 7 points.
You know, Zane Johnson has just come into the ball game. So Russ Pennell recognizes the need to kind of rest at least one of his guys.
Wise doing a lot of dribbling against this pressure. He is yet to score. Hands it off inside Hill. He has it rejected and taken away by Jennings. Smith shows it. And turns it over. Wise on the break. He's got Budinger on the wing and a strip and a foul. McGee reaching in, his first.
Well, again, you're looking at good penetration and just a throwdown by Jerry Smith. And he just parts the waters and gets in the middle of that Arizona defense. And again, we're talking about defense on the Louisville end, and this is where Terrence Jennings pays the dividends. He's an absolutely terrific shot blocker. We said in the last 18, he's averaged about 2 blocks a game.
So Nick Wise at the free throw line, junior from Houston, Texas, and according to his teammates, he's the guy that makes this team go. Can really turn it on from the perimeter and hit threes in bunches as we see subs come into the game. Wise averaging 16 points a game. That was his first point.
The 2 tournament games that he's played, he's averaging about 25 points a game. And, you know, at times you like to see a guy take advantage, but when it's your point guard, sometimes you worry if they're scoring too much, other people aren't getting involved. I think you've got to have that delicate balance against a team like Louisville. Wise has to exploit open opportunities, but he's certainly got to get other guys involved. He's not going to beat Louisville by himself.
Coming off a 21-point game against Cleveland State, where he shot 5 of 7 at 10 of 10 from the free throw line. McGee rebounded and stuck back in. Jennings. Wow. Louisville attacking the glass to take a 22-14 lead.
That's one of the luxuries Arizona has, to have a guy like Chase Budinger who can handle it, and as soon as I'm ready to laud him, he turns it over.
Williams, baseline. Gets it back and fires. And a whistle and foul coming up. And it will go against Louisville.
Well, we talked about Terrence Jennings, a freshman who gives quality minutes for Rick Pitino off the bench. Very active. And you see him get good position. And here's a double team right here on Chase Budinger. Now, he's got to be able to see with his size a little bit better. Jordan Hill probably should have stepped back up towards the middle of the free throw line and presented himself. Budinger stuck with the ball and he turns it over.
Earl Clark back in the game. Hill walking it over the timeline, and he finds Wise. Very interesting matchup, Wise and McGee. They're about the same size. Inside, Hill turns. Too strong.
And see, the jump shot, that mid-range jump shot is there. And good exploration, a little bit of the defense moving it around and getting a shot. Arizona's just got to knock him down.
Williams slashing, pulls up off the bounce and rattles out. So 1 and done for Louisville. Cardinals 9 of 19. Arizona 5 of 14. 36% inside and a foul. Now near the end of tonight's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Learn more about Chevy innovations at Chevy.com. So Nick Wise back at the line, an 85% free throw shooter.
And we talked about Nick Wise and his exploits in the first 2 games of this tournament. Actually, over the last 4, he's averaged 24 points, 5 assists. Been shooting lights out before this game. And, you know, we talk about him distributing the ball and get people involved. He can afford to do that because he is an explosive scorer. He's had 4 games where he scored 20 points in a half. So he knows when he can turn it on. But, again, he's got to get other guys involved.
Won 3 state championships in 4 years in high school. So here come the Cardinals. 22-15. Williams driving this time. Sosa back in, along with Knowles. They're in the backcourt. Sosa from New York City, and he's bumped on the sideline out of bounds. So the winner of this game will advance to take on the winner of our next game, Michigan State and Kansas. And this game between the Jayhawks and Spartans will be a rematch. Michigan State got them earlier during the season. This Arizona team also defeating Kansas this year, 84-67 on December 23rd. Inside Jennings, another dunk.
It's almost too easy right now. Louisville very comfortable taking the double team and then finding the cutter down the lane.
Jennings with 5. Budinger the other way, and he answers.
And Rick Pitino exhorting his guys, you got to get back on defense. But you know what? You talk about athleticism. Chase Budinger can run 94 feet with the best of them.
45-inch vertical leap. Clark in transition. Earl Clark continuing to improve his game in all areas. Wise driving the layup. Hill tried to take it away, and he goes over the back of Williams. 26-17. Hill called for the foul. Jennings, strong. Budinger, high riser.
Lenny.
All right, Greg, as we take a look at the game summary.
Well, too many easy hoops for Louisville. The three-point field goal shooting by them is really the difference in this game. Arizona with the 6 turnovers, not quite comfortable yet against the Louisville pressure.
So here's some pressure by Arizona. Williams.
Not that you ever get comfortable with that pressure, but you find a rhythm after a while.
Sosa along with Clark.
And look at Arizona really extending and playing intense man.
Clark kicks it down. Sosa wide open and hits. Edgar Sosa averages 7 off the bench. He's a junior. And Louisville takes a 29-17 lead.
Louisville now 4 of 9 from beyond the arc. And this is a team that relies on three-point shooting. They're 8-0 when they make 8 or more.
Budinger inside, and he hits. Budinger with 11 points in the first half. He's 5 of 6 from the field. And a reach-in foul from behind by Fall.
I meant to say Louisville is 22-0 when making 8 or more three-point field goals.
So Russ Pennell, 48 years old, got an opportunity to be a head coach in a very interesting way.
Well, obviously, it was almost by default. You take a look at this timeline. Lute Olson leaves, Kevin O'Neal named. Olson returns. And at the bottom, Mike Dunlap, the assistant coach right there, rejects the opportunity because he wanted a commitment made them for a longer term as opposed to just a 1 year. And then, obviously, Russ Pennell, last guy standing. And he's done a pretty good job, I'd say.
Clark inside and one. And just to finish the story on Coach Dunlap and Coach Pennell. Coach Pennell coaches the offense. Coach Dunlap coaches the defense. Last 2 years for Coach Dunlap, he was an assistant with George Karl and the Denver Nuggets. Prior to that, national champion coach at Metro State in Denver. Spent 9 years there. As Clark adds the free throw.
And in this game, you know, where leadership and head coaching, sometimes egos can take over. It's a pretty good coexistence between the two of them. They recognize their strengths and they go at it. And obviously, they've done a good enough job to get where we are today.
Wise off the mark. Wise 0 for 3 from the field. Sosa penetrating. Nice look. Bam!
And when I talked about easy hoops, that's what's been happening. Penetration, finding the cutters down the lane. And that's pretty much the difference in this ball game.
6 minutes to play. First half. All Louisville. 34-19. Are you as mad as a drink with real Coke taste and 0 calories? Prove it. Upload your videos at tastethemadness.com and get mad famous. 6 minutes to play. First half, Louisville with its largest lead, 34-19.
And Louisville persistent in the pressure. Nick Wise turns to the official as if to ask, get him off me. Louisville playing a very physical brand of pressure defense.
Budinger, one dribble, 11-foot pull-up, halfway down, pops out. Clark with the rebound. Here comes Sosa, Williams. Jennings has been terrific inside, but this time it's Samuels and a travel call against the Cardinals, and the defense so far has been terrific for Louisville.
Well, they're number 1 in the Big East in points allowed, number 2 in field goal percentage D, and number 3 in three-point field goal percentage defense. And it's because of the shot blockers, the quickness in the backcourt. In fact, they're 5th in the nation in blocked shots at 6 a game. So you talk about defense, not only do you apply pressure at the ball, you get all the way to the rim, you still have some problems with the shot block.
Budinger down the lane, finger roll, got it. But it's an offensive foul and will not count.
And I'll tell you what, that is a perfect complement to blocking shots. Now that everybody's aware that Louisville blocks shots, Samardo Samuel steps in and takes the charge as the ball handler Budinger wants to go up hard to avoid the shot block.
Sosa inside, nice no look. Oh my goodness. A foul called, going down hard. Fendi Onabun. And he comes off the bench, spot duty, and watch this fall.
Well, that pass was too easy to get to Samuels, and Onabun trying to come over and help. Goes for the ball fake. And boy, does he go for the ball fake.
Man, he did. So Samardo at the line. Samardo Samuels getting the first. Here comes Hill. Back in the game.
And again, Samardo Samuels right now, you can't even call him a freshman anymore. He's logged a lot of minutes. Co-rookie of the year in the Big East. Top 10 in the Big East in field goal percentage. And in the 2 NCAA games that he's played thus far, averaging 14 points and 7 rebounds. So he is in the mix.
36-19. More pressure being applied by Louisville. Budinger in the backcourt tries to race up the sideline.
And you notice that Arizona really alternating guys who are going to try to break the press off the bounce. Try to save the legs of a guy like Nick Wise.
Wise to Horn, wide open. Loose ball, batted around. Williams saves it from going out of bounds. What a play.
And that was the kind of quick shot Louisville wants you to take. They don't want you to explore the defense.
Sosa, no looker again, and a foul. Swoopshire will head to the line and shoot free throws. Now Monday on CBS, the madness continues with a new episode of TV's #1 comedy. Charlie Sheen and John Cryer star in 2.5 Men Monday on CBS, America's most watched network. Nice looking play, though, by T. Williams.
Yeah, T. Will, as he's known, is a complete player, probably one of the most complete players in the nation. He'll do a little bit of everything for you.
Swoopshire making the first, and Johnson coming back in for Arizona. And Terrence Williams, he's from Seattle, and he comes out of a high school that has been producing a lot of nice players. Rainier Beach High School in Seattle. Nate Robinson is a slam dunk champ in the NBA. Jamal Crawford, just to name a couple. Also in that Seattle area, Rodney Stuckey, kid played at Eastern Washington, now starting point guard with the Detroit Pistons, all coming out of that hotbed of basketball, Seattle. .4:10 to play. First half, 38-19. All Louisville. Hill has been quiet offensively. Takes a jump shot, rims off. Gets his own rebound. And banks it in with an angle.
That was a nice job. First of all, when he received a turn and face, put pressure on the defense. So all too often, guys get the ball up there and look to move it without even turning and making themselves a threat. And obviously, he's pretty lucky the ball bounced back to him.
Inside, Samuels put it on the floor and one. Samardo committed a cardinal sin by putting it on the floor and making himself small, but he's so strong, he managed to get it up there. And the Cardinals lead 40-21.
To 9. Back to Gus and Len.
All right, 40-21. Louisville with the lead. And don't forget, coming up at halftime, we'll go back to Greg, and Seth to take a look at the Syracuse-Oklahoma game, also tournament news, and an AT&T Naismith watch. And two of the candidates playing tonight, one in particular, Blake Griffin. And I tell you, if he's not the best player in the country, Lenny, I don't know who is. He can really play the game.
Well, he's been the most dominant player when you look at numbers particularly, and you look at his impact on the game. I mean, there are a lot of terrific players out there, but I think Griffin has really stood head and shoulders. You know, you talk about the impact of the pressure. I mean, obviously the turnovers, 8 Arizona turnovers have led to 11 Louisville points, but it's also the quick shots that Arizona has taken. It's also the defensive end where fatigue really shows itself, and Arizona giving up a lot of easy baskets in the paint. That's why they've gone the zone right now. They can't stay with the man-to-man.
And a foul inside. Let's take a look at the big three from Arizona to see what they've done this evening.
Well, obviously Chase Budinger with a quick start. Nick Wise, who's been hounded all day by this Louisville pressure, has had difficulty getting involved in the offense and getting good looks. And Jordan Hill has had some good opportunities from the mid-range, good open jump shots. He's just missed them.
So Clark makes the first free throw. And a sub coming in, Alex Jacobson.
But what we're seeing is the totality of impact that pressure after every make can have on a team, especially when you're playing 9 or 10 guys, as Rick Pitino has done.
Both free throws good for Clark, who has 9 points. Samuels has 9. Smith has 7. Jennings has 5. And Louisville takes a 43-21 lead. Budinger jump shot. Good. So Chase continues to stroke the basketball. 14 points in the first half. Baseline dealt wide open. Air ball. Clark had it, but he steps on the baseline out of bounds.
Well, again, we talked about the depth that Louisville looks to assert, and you look at the number of substitutions doubling Arizona's. And as I said, there are times when Rick Pitino's substitution patterns can resemble, change in hockey line.
Ball on the floor. They find Budinger. Here comes Chase. Wise gets a good look at the basket and hits. And he says, finally, I knock one down.
Finally, he's got some air. He's got some light.
And a timeout on the floor. Rick Pitino getting on his guys. 43-27. Wise finding the bottom of the basket. And welcome back. 43-27, under 2 minutes to play here in the first half. Louisville against Arizona, a 1 versus a 12.
Take a look at Arizona in their 1-1-3 zone. And that zone is designed not only obviously to change the pace, but also to give rest to the big three, particularly as they know they have to play a lot of minutes.
And a steal. Nice job by Andre McGee, collapsing down and coming up with the basketball. Smith passed up the jump shot. 15 to shoot. McGee kicking. Smith, this time he fires and hits.
Louisville playing with extreme high basketball IQ, recognizing again the fatigue factor starting to kick in with Arizona, and they're exploring the defense, making the defense move, change until they get open looks, and they're knocking them down.
So let's take a look at the West Regional in Glendale.
Well, this is going to be an outstanding matchup. I think the Connecticut guards are sitting back and wondering, okay, what are we going to do against this Missouri pressure? You know, A.J. Price, Kemba Walker, Craig Austrian and company, they're going to have to find a way to handle the ball because I know Jim Calhoun doesn't want his bigs handling it.
Congratulations to Mike Anderson, a descendant of Nolan Richardson. He's really turned things around at Missouri quickly. That's another thing. Nolan Richardson is out there. There are a lot of jobs that are open, a lot of coaches' names being passed around, and you never hear Nolan's name. National champion, architect of those great Arkansas programs. And it would be very interesting to see if there was a smart school out there to go knocking on Coach Richardson's door.
That would be interesting.
46-28, Louisville.
I tell you what, Mike Anderson's success, though, has a lot to do with the heart of his players. And you know, the way they held on, certainly they made some mistakes and let Memphis back in the ballgame, but they held on, did not back down.
Smith deep again, and he is hot. 13 points. 3 threes for Jerry Smith. And the Cardinals take a 49-28 lead.
This has just been a methodical dismantling of the Arizona Wildcats. Not a whole lot that can be done as Louisville, with pressure, with depth, and with accuracy, is just blowing them away.
Clark inside, and that will be offensive interference with 2.8 seconds to go. So Budiger inbounding on the baseline. Ball knocked away. Budiger gets it back, three-quarter court, and that's it. Louisville putting on a clinic, 49-28. Heading into the locker room. And we'll send you to Greg Gumbel in New York with AT&T at the half after these messages. You're watching the Men's NCAA Basketball Championship exclusively on CBS Sports.
Hi, everyone. Welcome once again to our studios here in New York for AT&T at the half. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with Greg Anthony and Seth Davis. They are in a timeout in Memphis, and we'll get you to that game as soon as they come out of it. However, let's run down what's going on for you. First of all, in Indianapolis, Arizona, and Louisville. This is Jerry Smith for three. He did a lot of that in the first half.
Yeah,
right?
He wasn't done here. He shows the pump fake and able to drive down the interior of the defense for the finish. And Louisville looked real good here early on in this basketball game. Edgar Sosa, nice follow-up there by Terrence Jennings. 5 points, 4 rebounds. Then Edgar Sosa. There he is to Shamardo Samuels. 9 points for the big freshman. And Louisville just a little bit too strong and too much pressure. 7 steals in that first half.
Hard to see anything that Louisville's doing wrong in this game so far.
And keep in mind, their best player, Terrence Williams, only 1 of 5 from the field, but 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and a couple steals, only 1 turnover. You love it when your best player can impact the game without making shots.
All right, meanwhile,
Welcome back to Indy. Louisville, the #1 seed overall in this year's tournament with a commanding lead over Arizona. Gus Johnson, Len Elmore, the Louisville pressure has been awesome in the first half.
Well, it certainly has, and it's really taken its toll on Arizona. Turnovers, yes. 9 turnovers by Arizona, 14 points off turnovers for Louisville, but it's also in the other phases of the game. The ability to get good looks at the basket, and Arizona's had some difficulty doing that.
All right, let's take a look at the in-game box score powered by CBS College Sports Network. Cable's home for NCAA March Madness.
Well, for Arizona, Chase Budinger, obviously the only one really getting off to a good start. But as I said, the pressure takes its toll. Quick shots, missed open looks. You know, it exacts a physical and mental toll. And Arizona's suffering right now. Maybe at halftime they can kind of regain their legs, get some stamina, and go at it again.
Budinger straightaway three-pointer and hits. So a good sign for Arizona as Budinger hits his first basket of the second half. Chase now has 17 points. On the other side, Jerry Smith has been hot. He'll reload it. Comes up short. Budinger with the rebound. So if you're Arizona, aside from trying to get your stamina from a technical standpoint, how do you get back into this game?
Well, you saw it on their first possession of the second half. Attacked the zone inside out. This time Hill with a bad shot should have kicked it back outside as the zone collapsed on him. But the first time they got it inside, kicked it back out for open look.
49-31. Make that 52-31. Louisville continuing to not only put great pressure on this Arizona team, but also hit their shots. The Cardinals are 17 of 34 from the field, actually make it 18 of 35 now, 51%.
And they're continuing their hot shooting in this tournament. 58% against Morehead State, 49% against Siena. They just have the range and the confidence.
Budinger inside Hill, steps out on the baseline, air ball, tracked down by Smith. Smith, McGee, Williams, Clark, as well as Samardo Samuels. Down the lane, Clark finds Samuels, and that's an offensive foul.
Well, Jordan Hill really struggling, not shooting a very good percentage. And he's been getting some good looks here on the turnaround and face. Good hand in the face by Samardo Samuels. But he's getting good looks. But Louisville, once again, penetrating in the paint. They've got so many of those easy ones. First half and now beginning here in the second half.
Hill is 2 for 7 from the field, 4 points. He averages 18 points and 11 rebounds a game.
And he shoots 54% from the field. So a lot of those shots that we're seeing him miss, he normally makes.
Wise turns the corner and fires. Ball tracked down on the baseline by Hill. Arizona getting a new shot clock, and it's poked out of bounds. So this is the 5th meeting between these two teams. Series tied at 2. Arizona has won the last 2 in a series that dates all the way back to 1948. 25th consecutive appearance in the NCAAs for Arizona. Budinger banking one in from straight away. He wanted to foul, and he won't get it. And the officials have done a nice job. End-to-end play, not a lot of whistles. They've allowed him to be physical. Williams looking inside for Samuel. Now Williams catch and shoot and hits.
Terrence Williams, first team All Big East. As we said, a terrifically complete player. Scores, distributes, plays defense. Does exactly what Louisville needs when they need it.
Wise, the kick. Horn has been very reluctant to shoot the ball.
Well, he's so busy trying to be a pressure release, he's really out of his area. He's more of a mid-range player.
Budinger across the lane. Loose ball. Cardinals have it. They push it ahead to Williams. Diagonal pass. Inside Samuels, and a reaching foul coming up on Wise.
Well, you talk about the defense. You saw the slow reaction on defense by Arizona, but here's what the pressure does. This is the toll that it exacts. Field goal percentage, guys' legs aren't under him. They're taking quick shots. They're taking ill-advised shots, and certainly the turnovers. We expect that. 14 Louisville points off of 9 Arizona turnovers. But again, it's the totality of impact by the pressure, and Arizona's feeling it on every point.
Arizona as a team shoots 47% from the field. Samardo with 10 points. Second free throw goes down. He has 11. Clark has 12. And Smith with 13, all scored in the first half. Fogg driving, lays it up for Hill. Fogg on the baseline. Oh, look at that rebound. Williams puts it behind his back. Kicks it out. Clark, D. Got it. Wow. These guys can play. And Arizona, they want to talk it over. Louisville popping their collars now. 15 points for Clark. And the Cardinals take a 60-33 lead. Watch this rebound.
And Terrence Williams, we talked about his ability, a little bit of showtime.
And Clark finishes with the jumper in the corner. (60-33), the Cardinals dominating here in Indy, about 100 miles from Louisville, Indianapolis, and this feels kind of like a home game for the Louisville Cardinals.
Yeah, an awful lot of red out there in the stands. And right now, they're just enjoying life.
Wise drives to the basket, running jump shot short, gets it. Budinger, 3. Batted around, and Samuels clears the rebound. McGee, Williams, Smith, Samuels, Clark on the floor. The crossover inside. Samardo comes up short.
Just had a chance to see the deftness of Terrence Williams off the dribble, finding people down low.
So Budinger. Hill facing. Inside jump hook, and he travels. 10 turnovers for Arizona. 60-33. Louisville.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the Men's Basketball Championship is sponsored by Enterprise Rent-A-Car and by Bud Light.
Welcome back to Indy as we take a look at our tournament summary.
Well, the Big East, the proof is in the doing. You can argue all you want about who is the strongest conference, but the Big East has really confirmed the fact they're the most competitive and maybe the most strongest. And the number 1 and number 3 seeds, flawless thus far.
And this man's team has been flawless over the last 12 games. Louisville on a 12-game winning streak. Rick Pitino in his eighth year here. He's already led up to a Final Four back in 2005, trying to get there again. 2 NCAA titles for the Cardinals, 1980-86. 8 Final Fours. All knocked away. Johnson outlet pass. Budinger. And Budinger fouled going to the basket. Knowles gets him. So under Rick Pitino, the Louisville Cardinals have done a lot. Final Four in 05, Elite 8 last year.
But it took a miraculous comeback in that Final Four year against West Virginia. West Virginia goes out to a 20-point lead in New Mexico. And Louisville, led by Rick Pitino, comes roaring back to win that one.
8-0 all-time in regional semifinals. Talking to him yesterday, I mean, he just seems like he still has a great youthfulness about him. He says he's having a whole lot of fun coaching this team this year. Well, justifiably so when they're as good as they are.
Sure, you know what I'm saying? When you can tinker with them, you can interchange parts, you can try a lot of new things. I mean, it's fun coaching. And these guys have certainly performed, winning the Big East tournament and winning the regular season. I mean, they have just done it the way he wants it.
Friends and family are heading to Harper's Island for a celebration. What they don't know is that there's a killer among them. The mystery event premieres Thursday, April 9th on CBS. Interesting news taking place today in Lexington.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes those kinds of marriages dissolve quickly.
Billy Gillespie and Kentucky parting ways. Long outlet pass. Knowles leaves it. Sosa left hand and one. Beautiful. Edgar Sosa smiling for the camera after a terrific looking play.
Well, again, Louisville right now just showing off their athleticism and their willingness to share the ball. You take a look right there. These guys are like producers, man. They know where every camera is on the floor.
So Sosa at the line. 5 points for Edgar. Make it 6. 63-34. And Louisville stays in that full court press. Wise Over dribbling, out of bounds, knocked out of bounds by Williams.
Well, Nick Wise had his mind made up. He was going to beat that pressure. When he saw the backs of the defenders, he was going to get right by him, but they turned around and reacted quickly.
And this Arizona team has beaten some pretty big opponents this season, as Hill has that one rim off. They beat Kansas, Gonzaga, Washington, USC, UCLA inside, but right now no match for the mighty Cardinals as Terrence Jennings lays it in 65-34. Budinger knocked out of bounds. Will stay right here.
Again, we talked about the willingness to share the ball, and I think these guys have great pride in their ability to draw and kick and deliver and help somebody else score. And Terrence Williams is a leader among them.
Hill can't hold on. A turnover. Sosa has Jennings. Sosa to the basket. Up and in.
And we're seeing with the spate of turnovers now with Arizona, that's where the mental fatigue sets in more than anything. Guys aren't coming to the ball. They're not seeing it. They're trying to make moves too quickly.
Hill blocked from behind, and he's fouled. 11 turnovers for Arizona in this game.
Well, again, you're going into a situation where you wind up stealing the ball, open floor situation, and Louisville at their best in transition.
Now that is the third foul on Clark. Jordan Hill struggling, only 4 points tonight. Delp checks in.
And the substitutions just keep on coming, don't they?
They certainly do, in waves.
And that's what we talk about, interchangeable parts, guys capable of playing multi-positions.
Quite often you'll watch this Louisville team and they'll have at least 4 ball handlers on the floor. Everybody able to handle the ball a little bit as Sosa now brings it up.
And you look at the substitutions, Louisville again almost doubling that of Arizona, just showing off their depth. And from a bench point standpoint, this is really where the impact is felt. The subs just don't come in to eat minutes. They come in and produce.
Inside, Hill having a hard time catching the ball tonight. Sosa again. Woo! That's a New York City move, coast to coast. Sosa with 10, and Louisville takes a 69-36 lead.
Well, at this point in time, if you're a coach, regardless of the lead, you want your guys to still play as hard as they possibly can. But I think we're at message-sending moments right now where Louisville is sending a message to either Kansas or Michigan State. Here we come.
And under Pitino, Kentucky won the national championship in '96. They went to the title game in '97. Is this the same kind of team? Is he running the exact same kind of offense and defense with this Louisville team that he ran at Kentucky when he won it all?
I think from a system standpoint, yeah, the pressure is there. He's got the athletes. Certainly you adapt to the skill that you have. And I think Rick Pitino's got more quality big men and some more versatility on this particular team.
Do they shoot it as well?
These guys shoot the three. I mean, they shoot the three well. You know, average about 36% from beyond the arc, 45% in total. But again, from the big standpoint with Samuels, Jennings, Earl Clark, I mean, those guys put a lot of pressure on back lines of defenses.
Jump ball, and the possession arrow favors Louisville. 72-40. Cardinals running and gunning here in Indy. Welcome back to Indy and a look at the game summary.
Well, again, it's just an absolute domination by Louisville. Look at the three-point field goals. Remember, Louisville 22-0 when they've made 8 or more three-point field goals, obviously with 10.
Looks like this young lady was reading the summary as well. And that kind of sums up the day for Arizona.
She's seen the indicators.
Yeah, she has.
And they don't look good.
Inside, Smith now facing 16-footer. Rebounded by Wise. He'll push it hard into the front court to the basket and lays it in.
But you can't fault Arizona for effort. Despite the score, Nick Wise pushing the ball up, playing as hard as he possibly can.
Inside, Williams all alone, and he goes up and flushes it down. 74-42.
Again, a good sign for Louisville how charitable they are and continuing to draw and find the open man.
Wise down the lane and a lead in. Blocking foul.
Well, we talked about the big three for Arizona, Budinger, Hill, and Wise, and they average about 70% of their team's output, and only Budinger really having a day that you would expect, as Jordan Hill and Nick Wise really struggling from the field, and Arizona cannot possibly hope to win unless these guys are on the mark. And you take a Jordan Hill in particular, as well as Nick Wise, difficulty from the field.
Budinger in the backcourt, guarded by Smith. Smith allows him to take a jump shot right off the dribble. Arizona as a team 37% shooting. Smith for three. Good. Jerry Smith with his fourth three of the game. 16 points. Louisville with a 77-42 lead. And they have really stroked it from the three-point line.
Yeah, they've been able to attack Arizona either out of Arizona's man or their 1-1-3 by going inside and out, pushing it, getting in the middle of the paint, and kicking it out to open looks.
Louisville 11 of 22 from the three-point line. On the season, they shoot 36%. Williams down the lane this time, hangs in the air, can't bank it home. Out of bounds, will stay right here. So let's take a look ahead. Big game coming up. A 1 versus a 3, Pittsburgh and Villanova.
Well, Villanova had success against Pittsburgh in beating them at home this year. And it came down to, obviously, Juan Blair getting a bit of foul trouble as Villanova went at him. And then we saw the tremendous defense that Villanova can play against Duke, the interchangeable parts, switching every screen so the shooters always have a hand in the face. Just outstanding defense for Villanova. And quite honestly, they hit a few shots as well.
Smith again. And Johnson pushed off, gets the rebound.
Jay Wright doing a marvelous job, coach of the year in the Big East.
Wise again for three. Williams going up high, majestically. What an athlete. Terrence Williams does everything easy except shoot free throws. Inside and one. Samuel.
Arizona just doesn't have the personnel to match up with Louisville's front line. And you can see as physical as they are, they persevere inside. And you see Jordan Hill with his hands out like, what else can I do?
Budinger will come back in, and a sub coming. Will Scott will come in for the first time.
When Budinger replaces Hill, Hill is pretty much spent battling those big bodies down there all day. You know, his inability to knock down shots has a lot to do with that battle and that fatigue, both mental and physical.
Samuels adds the free throw, and he has 14 points. 80-45. 9:05 to play. Here in the second half, Louisville, the #1 overall seed in the tournament. 5 losses this year. Western Kentucky, Minnesota, UNLV, UConn, and their last loss coming to Notre Dame. Horn with his first field goal of the game.
And remember, Louisville ripped through the Big East tournament, you know, kind of putting to rest some of the arguments that sometimes when you lose early in the tournament, it gets you rested, gets you prepared to play the NCAA tournament. You know, my belief has always been winning is a habit. And you continue to win, you know, you don't feel fatigue. And the numbers prove themselves. Take a look right here, last 12 games. Look at the improved numbers shooting from both the field as well as beyond the arc, particularly. You know, that's not a sign of a tired team.
And one reason that they're not tired, as you mentioned, is that they play so many guys. So everybody has a chance to get rest. They're always running fresh legs at players. Williams. Clark with the rebound and stick back. (82-47).
And having the time between the win against Siena last week and this game, that Siena game was pretty close, probably too close for comfort. And I'm sure Rick Pitino and his team went back to the drawing board, looked at a bunch of things, and they came out here ready to go.
Hill inside, gets one to fall. He has 8 points. 10 below his season average.
And one of the things in Siena's game against Louisville, Siena able to minimize the turnovers, particularly in the open floor. Not a lot of steals for Louisville, only 3, which means they didn't get into transition as much as they'd like. But here, you know, they're pretty much having their way.
7:27 to play. 82-49 Louisville. And right now the Cardinals are feeling really positive. Up big.
Gus and Len, back to you.
All right, Greg, 82-49, our score. NCAA March Madness On Demand is streaming every game from the NCAA Championship online for free. Watch any game from the tournament live at ncaa.com. Sosa and Clark, along with Williams, Scott, and Samuels on the court for Louisville. 15 to shoot. Sosa has been excellent off the bench. He's in double figures with 10. Crossover. Scott deep in the corner. Samuels with the offensive rebound. Inside, Clark lays it up and in. Too easy for Louisville.
Another excellent job of ball movement, even off the offensive rebound. No one tried to do it by themselves, as Louisville, characteristic of their attack and Rick Pitino coaching, they're all trying to do it together.
19 points for Earl Clark. Hill saves it from going out of bounds. Louisville still getting after it defensively, and a reaching foul. Buttinger is fouled.
Well, again, we talked about Louisville's ability to share the ball, and it's been everybody getting involved. Off the break, off of steals, defensively, the help, certainly the ball movement, cutters down the middle. That's how it establishes big lead in the first half. 5 guys in double figures, and they have got a tremendous amount, I think 20 or 21 assists off of 30 field goals, which is absolutely outstanding. When you look at the score and you look at the amount of points that Louisville has scored.
Very nice pass as Wise finds Onabun. And Fendi is on the board, his first basket of the game. Senior from Houston, Texas, who may try out for the Arizona football team next year, or even go as far as going to try out for an NFL team. They really like his size at 6'6", 250. Baseline Williams, got it. Terrence Williams with 14 points. And Louisville takes an 87-51 lead. Hill, he has 10 now. 5:18 to play. The winner of this game will take on the winner of our next game between Michigan State and Kansas, which is a rematch. Michigan State beat them earlier this year in East Lansing. Sosa deep in the corner. Count it.
We're talking about Michigan State and Kansas. Their assistant coaches, their advanced team, looking to scout right here, sitting behind us. And I guarantee you they're taking a lot of notes. A lot of notes against this Louisville team.
Hill spinning again. Batted around. Picked up. Wise, baseline, jump shot. Hill with the rebound. Block, gets it back. Volleyball. Hill, and he lays it in.
Right now, if you're Arizona, you're playing for pride. You're playing to make sure, obviously, nobody lets up, that you can come back and say you gave your best effort. But when you talk about Louisville, you see how they share the ball. It's just great team chemistry.
As you take a look at the bracket here in the Midwest, Michigan State, Kansas coming up next. Danny Manning, remember him in the Miracles, winning the national championship. He's an assistant coach now with Kansas.
And you saw his eyes wide open looking at this Louisville juggernaut. First things first, of course. If he's going to be back here on Sunday with his team, he got to take care of business against an extraordinarily tough and deep Michigan State team.
George Good with a dunk. And Johnson comes down the floor and adds a three. His first basket of the game. Zane Johnson, sophomore from Phoenix.
And he's a three-point specialist. Of his 50 field goals made, 36 of them are from beyond the arc.
3:25 to play in the second half. Edgar Sosa and the Cardinals playing well, 92-58.
But what a difference a week makes. Arizona in the first two rounds only trailed 32 seconds in two games. And today, except for a brief tie, and Arizona never had the lead, Arizona's been looking up.
And Will Scott off the bench hits his first basket, a senior from New York City, transferred from Cornell. Loose ball squirts out. Scott, a very interesting story. Incredible student. Now Horn. Johnson a three. Long rebound, Hill. Can't get it to go, and finally Louisville comes up with the basketball.
Louisville has pretty much gone liberally to their bench, as has Arizona now, as the game is pretty much a foregone conclusion.
2:33 to go, 97-58. Hill forcing his way inside and can't lay it up. Sosa finds Scott. He's got Swapshire with him. Bam! Louisville can do no wrong. 99-58.
Regardless of who's in the game.
Hill jump hook. And a timeout. They're going to get the subs in. 1:48 to play. Louisville 1 point away from 100. $99-60. The Louisville Cardinals, the #1 overall seed in this year's tournament, destroying Arizona with 1:40 to go.
And it really came down to Louisville playing to their strength, which is pressure right from the beginning tip. Able to convert baskets, knock shots down, and wear Arizona down quickly.
Substitutes in. Brendan Lavender turns it over. Picked up by Kyle Couric. Scott will get it back to Sosa. Most points scored in their 96-game tournament history. Sosa almost turned it over and does.
Well, this is a game where the full court pressure and even the half court pressure really took its toll on 2/3 of the big three. Chase Budinger, a pretty good game, 22 points. But you're talking about Wise and Hill, 9 of 29 from the field, 7 turnovers between them, and it's just been a hard night for those two guys. Louisville, on the other hand, 5 guys in double figures.
And they go over the 100-point mark. Swabshire attacking the basket again. The 100th time in their history they've scored 100 or more points. And I think you brought up something earlier in this second half. This is a message-sending game.
Oh, no question about it. At this point in time, everybody's getting in the act. And also, you look at that team chemistry. I mean, it's easy when you're winning by this margin. But nevertheless, having watched this team throughout the year, there's a closeness about them, a looseness about them that pretty much supports the fact that the overall #1 seed.
And the Chevrolet players of the game. Chase Budinger, 22 points. Earl Clark, 19 points and 9 rebounds. Edgar Sosa comes out of the game. Sosa with 13 points. And he also had 6 assists and a couple of rebounds. Very efficient, 5 of 6 shooting. Scott steps into a 3. Been a great season for Arizona. They slumped at the end of the year, but managed to make it to the NCAA tournament and also advance all the way to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those things where a lot of people say they don't deserve to be, but winning those 2 games confirmed the fact they passed the eye test, that they're competitive. They got to the Sweet 16. They got nothing to hang their heads about.
The final 103-64, Louisville defeats Arizona. They await the winner of Michigan State, Kansas. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Gus Johnson, thank you very much. Louisville looking very much like Penn State. Don't forget Gonzaga, North Carolina still to come, but everybody off to Indianapolis after this message and a word from your local station.
Louisville Cardinals are Elite 8 bound after a huge win over Arizona tonight in Indianapolis. Fox 41's Tom Lane and Mike Olmstead following the Cards. Hey, guys.
Hey, John. Here's one way you know when your team was very impressive. The only thing Rick Pitino felt bad about afterwards was the last dunk of the game by Kyle Couric that they were kind of rubbing in a little bit. He said, you know, guy got excited. We wanted to run off the clock. He apologized for that. Everything else he was extremely proud of with his Cardinal team tonight. They led it by 21 at halftime, used an early 15-1 run in the second half to really put things away. They blow out Arizona tonight, 103-64.
That's right, led by as many as 41 points in that second half. Everything grooving for these guys. How about knocking in, how many three-pointers? 14
of 29 from
13 of 14
range.
from the free throw line. That's 92.9%. I did the math just now right in my head.
Good.
Incredible. Who would have thought this U of L team could shoot 93% from the free throw line? Afterwards, as you can imagine, a very happy locker room.
Now stop. Think about it, y'all.
Huge win, nice win, most points ever scored by the program in an NCAA tournament game. Coach P's 200th win at U of L. But there's still a lot of work to do for this team, isn't there?
I think so, man. We can't really celebrate. You know, we got a big game on Sunday coming at us, and we just got to bounce back in one-day preparation and get ready to go.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. You know, felt like we was back at Freedom Hall. All our fans are here. You know, we up a lot of points. Everybody's, you know, getting a chance to play. Everybody's making their shots. So, you know, it was just fun. It was just like you was out there on the park just having fun.
I mean, right from tip, you know, we played good D. We executed on offense. And, you know, it was evident at halftime. Coach came in and he really didn't have a whole lot to say. And that's the first time, I think, in 4 years I've ever seen him like that. So, I mean, when that happens, you know you're playing well.
What's it like to be in that rhythm, this entire team, at the same time?
Oh, it's great because it happens at the right time. If this was 2 months ago, you could say, okay, that's cool. When it happened in the Garden or when it happened at West Virginia when we needed to win, it was good. For it to happen right now, to go to the Elite Eight, is great. Now, if we could take it up a step to go to the Final Four, it'd be real great.
And they will continue to be here for another couple of days. They've got, of course, press conferences, closed practice here tomorrow. And then on Sunday, well, it's a chance to get to the Final Four. Will they play Kansas? Will they play Michigan State? That one just coming into the second half right now. Kansas leading in that game.
Cardinals 31-5 now on the year. Rick Pitino 9-0 in regional semifinal games. That regional final comes up Sunday afternoon, and as Mike said, we'll have lots more preview action for you tomorrow, hearing from the Cards and the winner of that Kansas-Michigan State game. Until then, for Mike Olmstead, I'm Tom Lane outside Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. We're live, so is John Lewis. Back to you, Johnny.
Indianapolis, and joins us now, Kent.
Hey guys, what a show. You think that looked like the #1 team in the country? The Cards with a season-high 103 points. They win it 103-64 over Arizona. Also a season-high 29 assists. Amazing stuff. Hey, they even hit 13 of 14 free throws, 93%. I guess playing in that big arena didn't bother them much. There were a lot of U of L fans here to see it, and everybody in the locker room excited to be moving on for the second straight year to the Elite Eight.
That was pretty impressive, wasn't it? It was very. I was impressed. I was impressed with the passing. I was impressed with the defense, free throw shooting. I'm real proud of our guys. They focused in very well. Had great respect for Arizona.
What happened out there tonight? You seen a team that played 40 minutes, unselfish, passed the ball, tuned in and practiced on how to stop them, how to play defense, and it prevailed. It showed out there that we practiced hard yesterday, and we knew what we needed to do.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It felt like we was back at Freedom Hall. All our fans are here. We up a lot of points. Everybody's, getting a chance to play. Everybody's making their shots. So, it was just fun. It was just like you was out there on the park just having fun.
I think it was the intensity level. Guys came out tonight and were just so fired up. We had 2 sluggish games in Dayton. And tonight was just that night where we were able to finally bust out the gates and get it going.
That was a great team display. That's all I can say. I mean, guys out there were just sharing the ball, and it was beautiful to see. The ball, was hopping like a hot potato. Guys passing up good shots to get other guys great shots, moving it, hitting the high post, people cutting, getting the open threes and slam dunks. It was great.
I guess we came prepared. I mean, Arizona's a good team, but I guess we was all focused in and believed in our system and a little basketball, and we just got it done.
I guess so. Get it done. They did. 5 players in double figures. All 13 players who played scored. It is a U of L school record for most points in an NCAA game and also the widest margin of victory in an NCAA game. What can you say? And you know what? As Connie Leonard joins me, a little different. Last year they played in the Elite Eight against North Carolina. 90% North Carolina fans in there. Tonight, a lot of red in Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah, you saw all the red. You heard all the Cardinal fans out there tonight. And, they just wanted to know, can they play like this again Sunday? But they went home tonight or went back to their hotel rooms very happy and hopeful for Sunday's game.
Go Cards, baby! #1! We're #1 for a reason!
Emerging with Wildcat-eating grins, Cardinal fans leave impressed with their team's 103-64 slaughter of Arizona.
Woo! Go Cards!
Oh, I wasn't surprised. I mean, we're #1 overall seed. We should be beating a 12 seed by this much. Doesn't surprise me at all. I think they're getting better every game.
Oh, they played really good. It's crazy.
Were you surprised how well they played?
No, I thought they played really good.
That good?
I was surprised. I was surprised.
What about the Cards tonight?
From the outset, it was all Cards, baby. From the outset, it was all Cards. And it's one thing I got to send back home. For all you Cat fans, stop hating.
On to the Elite Eight. Fans hope the team's full-court domination will continue into Sunday.
I think Sunday's going to be a little bit tighter game, but I see them to win.
Unbelievable. Win by 40 in the Sweet 16. Are you kidding me? Like, we kicked them like they stole something. Like, it was unbelievable.
The Cards' good luck charm tonight, young Pitino fan Alex, who showed up in a classic white suit for the win.
Pitino taught me to dress for success because I have on a white suit.
Oh, you do? You're dressed for success, and they won. Are you going to wear it every time you see them play now?
Yes.
That's going to be your trademark? I think it works, Alex. Are we excited to see how they played tonight?
Yes, they played really good.
He is right, and how cute is he? And Kent, you heard the one fan kind of address the Kentucky situation, but I tell you, most fans tonight just were happy with Louisville's win, and that's all they wanted to talk about. The Cards.
I might have to go with the white suit maybe on Sunday if it's going to help out. The game, by the way, will be on Sunday, the Midwest Regional Final against either Kansas or Michigan State. Those two playing right now in Lucas Oil Stadium, Kansas, with the lead in the second half. It's expected to tip about 2:20. They haven't set the time yet. It'll be 2:20 or sometime around 5 o'clock or so on Sunday. We'll find out for sure later tonight. Of course, we'll have that for you tomorrow. It'll be the toughest.
Well, the seed remaining in the tournament, Arizona, the Midwest, against the #1 overall seed in Louisville, and Arizona didn't last long. Oh, shot fake, pass fake, dunk from Jerry Smith, and the Ville up by 8. Terrence Jennings to Terrence Williams. Louisville out of the gate and up 9 in a hurry, and Edgar Sosa to Samardo Samuel.
Samuel's just making things happen inside. They need him getting points in the paint.
14 for him, the Ville up by 15. Louisville was 14 of 29 from 3. Smith again, he had 16. It was a 21-point edge at the break. Second half, Earl Clark can do a little bit of everything, Hubert.
Oh, he can. At the power forward position, he can score down low in the paint and also knock down wide open three-pointers.
And it just became party time and pose time. Edgar Sosa. Beautiful. Okay.
Easy, big
Terrence.
Terrence, don't dance yet.
He danced past Arizona, but there's a great challenge awaiting. 103 to 64. Louisville never scored that many points in a tournament game, and they dismantled the Wildcats.
The great myth about, for us, people say not a good shooting team. Yet we're not when we take challenge shots. When we pass, we're a great shooting team. Our press feeds off the passing and the scoring. So this was a brilliant performance by our players, no question about it, because Arizona was playing terrific ball.
We look for each other, and when we pass the ball, we knock down shots. So when we look for each other, share the ball, we can have great shooting nights every night.
Guys had open shots. They're giving it to guys that had even a more open shot. And it says a lot about our team and how far we've come. And I thought we did a great job doing that.
I thought we got some good looks at the basket. They didn't go in, and then we just weren't quick enough on our rotations on the defensive end. Game got away from us. But, I think there's a reason that Louisville is seeded #1 in this tournament, and I think they showed that tonight.
Guys are talking about passing from Louisville, and we had 9 field goals all night in which an assist was not credited. That is a remarkable percentage. And some other notes, it's the largest margin of victory in a Sweet 16 game since the field expanded to 39-point edge. Louisville's never won bigger, and it's the worst tournament loss ever by Arizona, and Rick Pitino remains perfect in Sweet 16 games. Bob Knight is back with us now. Bob Knight checking in. Louisville has been running past everybody, Bob. If you had Michigan State's team, the team that Louisville will face in the Midwest Regional Final, what would your game plan be against the Cardinals?
Well, I think one of the things that you've got to do against their full-court pressure, Reese, is try to score. And I mean try to score with good passing, drive the ball when there's an opening, because if you don't, it's giving them a free ticket to win the game. If you play against a team that picks up full court, and don't try to take advantage of double teams by getting into a 3-on-2 or even a 4-on-3 situation offensively, then you're going to really hurt yourself. So I think Michigan State is going to have to be able to score against the press. I think they're going to have to do it without throwing the ball away. And that's going to be a very difficult task against a team like Louisville that is both a very good full-court defensive team and a very good half-court defensive team. I think one of the things that sticks out in my mind thus far, Reese, in the regionals is that there have been 8 games, and they've all been basically won by the team that you would look at as being the better team. And only 2 of those 8 games thus far have gone down to a position where either team could win. Pitt and Xavier, and the other one would be Kansas and Michigan State. So Michigan State has fought hard. They've played well. They have not played as well as Louisville has played. Maybe only from beginning to end to this point in the tournament, the only other team that's played as well as Louisville has been UConn. Now, Louisville's had a little bit of a problem, I think, over the course of the year being focused. But I would imagine that Rick will have this team extremely well focused for its game with Michigan State.
We're setting up, perhaps, Bob, for a monster Final Four. Thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you soon. All right, so Bob Knight joining us, and he was talking about the way he would attack Louisville if he were Michigan State. How would you approach it?
Yeah, I do the same thing, although in a lot of those situations, if I got a quick score, I'll go for it against the press. But I'm not going to force it against the press because I feel this way. If I can run half-court offense and take time off the clock, because Michigan State, in a game like this, they're only going to score in the 60s. They did that tonight in their win. But when you look more importantly, they're not going to go 80 points, 90 points. They don't want to get into a 100-point game because they're not that type of team, and none of the Big Ten teams were this year because that's the style of play. So what are you talking about? Well, when Louisville lost to Connecticut, what was interesting, they let Terrence Williams get his 26 points. The rest of the team went 11 for 45, 24%. So there's a game where they shoot under 40%. When they lost at Notre Dame, same thing. They did a great job defending Notre Dame, played a lot of zone. They end up shooting 39%. So I think Izzo's going to mix defenses. He can play a matchup zone. He doesn't. He can play man-to-man. He may want to press because we saw against Siena, they had a lot of turnovers and scored points off of Michigan, off of the turnovers of Louisville in that game for Siena. Siena only had 9 turnovers in that game, and Louisville only got 9 points because they took care of the ball. So that's got to be Izzo's game plan. Play it in the 60s and control the tempo. You control the game and try to beat them. But I think Louisville's too tough.
Well, you know, Digger, I think they got to basically, as you said, try to control the tempo of the game, and you got to avoid spurts. Louisville's a great spurt team. They're a kind of club, all of a sudden it's 7-7, and before you turn around, it's 20-7. They go on one of those spurts, turning the ball over. I think the key is, as Bob was speaking, if you're going to attack that pressure, don't just bring the ball back out and get conservative. If you got the personnel. Now, it's easy to say that if you don't have personnel, but I think they have personnel that can attack. With kids like Lucas and Walton, Morgan, people around like that can handle the ball, I think you could go right at them and try to put some points on the board. Allen, Summers, and company. I think, Hubert, you can't play scared. You got to play aggressively, and you got to attack.
I agree with you. I mean, when you look at Louisville's press, they create turnovers, they get deflections, and then they take time off the clock. And when you saw tonight, when Arizona, when they broke the press, they didn't attack it. They set up in their half-court offense, and they were going up against a set Louisville defensive team with 25 seconds on the shot clock rather than 35. When you look at Michigan State, a team that struggles to score in the half-court, I think they have to attack that press and try to score. Now, when I mean try to score, not shoot outside jump shots. If they have a layup or early shot, high percentage shot, you have to take it. I think going up against Louisville, a set defense for Michigan State, that's not good for them.
It's a losing proposition.
They don't have a go-to guy.
So what impact does that have on tempo then? Because you don't want to run with Louisville, I think, but you still want to score. What effect does that have then?
Well, if you take care of the basketball, you create tempo. If you go and score and they have to take the ball out, that creates tempo. Taking care of the basketball is the number one thing. If you turn the ball over, Louisville's all over the place. They're scoring, and when they score, that allows them to set up their press.
But guys, this game, Louisville played a lot of 2-3 zone tonight, and that's what Michigan State wants them to do, because when you face a zone, you can take time off the clock to keep this game in the 60s. The only way Michigan State can win this game is to keep this game in high 50s or low 60s. They don't want to get into a running game, and if you think you want to up-tempo the whole game, you're making a mistake, and Izzo knows that, because they're not a great scoring team, Michigan State. So play to your potential offensively, do the things you want to do defensively against Louisville, and control the tempo that way.
But Rick Pitino's not going to let him play the half-court game. He's going to trap. He's going to pressure. He goes to a variety of traps, multi-defense.
Their last two losses, though, Dick, their last two losses against Notre Dame and Connecticut, that's how they attacked. And that if I'm scouting this game, if I'm Notre Dame,
but Notre Dame, they caught Notre Dame at the wrong
they beat them by
time.
30.
I know, but it was one of those games you throw it out.
Maybe this game will be the wrong time.
Well,
and that's the thing you're looking at. I'm just finishing up with this one point. When I look at tapes and I see how Connecticut beat them, how Notre Dame beat them, their last two losses, and I see some of the things they're not doing, if Izzo's that smart, and we know he is, he's going to come up with the right game plan, and believe me, he wants this game in the 60s.
I'm sure he does, and we'll see if Pitino can enforce his will. Sometimes they say it's easier to enforce your will if you want to slow down as opposed to trying to speed up. Depends on how